Hello fellas, this is Frankie Dave back here again on YouTube. I have another build I'd like to share with you. Although this build wasn't done in the past, it was done pretty recently, about a year ago. I generally don't buy very small aircraft models built. I always like them big, but this is an exception. Uh, a lot of you out there probably wondering, Frank, do you ever build things smaller besides those big jobs you got? And oh yeah, I'll build them small. No big deal. Well, this one here is the smallest one I have in my collections. I wouldn't mind getting a whole bunch of them like this. To tell you the truth, I'm pretty happy with it. The one thing about 1/144 scale, you can have an entire collection of all aircraft of different nationalities and different makes without hoarding up too much of a fuss of displaying them. This right here is a 1/44 scale C-54 Skymaster, the candy bomber. That boat traded 1949, Operation Little Devils, the Berlin airlift, as you all know it. I'd like to present a little history of the airplane before I present the model to you. C-54 Skymaster entered service as late as 1943. It was on the drawing boards of being designed all the way up from 1941, and it saw service back in 43. The original prototype of the C-54 Skymaster, it had a three-tail configuration. It had the resemblance of the Super Constellation. But they found out there was no need to have three tails on the aircraft. The aircraft was pretty stable by having only one horizontal stabilizer only, the rudder. So the aircraft was redesigned to one single rudder only. And everything else remained the same as from the prototype. And the paint schedule with the prototype at the time was olive drab and neutral gray. The C-54 Skymaster into service, as I mentioned earlier in the video, from 1943, and was stricken from the United States Air Force as late as 1971. It was a very versatile airplane, a very good airplane. It was used as a passenger plane a lot, and a lot of airlines use them. Pan American, more or less, used them more than any of them did. You didn't have too many TWAs, but you had United Airlines, they had them. Scandinavian Airlines, they had them. Pan American Airways System, they had them. And the Air Force mostly uses most of them as transportation aircraft, more or less as evacuation aircraft, or more or less uses for transports. The aircraft right here was built straight from the box. It portrays the candy bomber. The reason why they call him the candy bomber is, as this gentleman used to throw bags of Hershey bars, little small candy to the little German children out there every time they came in for landing at Tempelhof. This aircraft flew all the way from the States to Tempelhof, Germany, shuttling food. They call Operation Little Devils. When World War II came to an end, post World War II Germany was in shambles. Had no military authority and no government, no nothing. Hitler left Germany in a mess, a big mess. So Germany was more or less controlled by different sectors. You had the French, the English, the Yanks, and the Russians. And the Russians seemed like they wanted to run the whole show. So what they did, they put an embargo against Germany. They made sure they tried to starve them to death into submission so they could join the Eastern Front. And it didn't work. The English and the French and the Yanks, we all got together, and they called Operation Little Victuals. We transported food from our homeland all the way to Germany to help the German people out. The airlift didn't last any longer than 1 year. Then they regained control of their own government that they had, and plus they had total control of Germany, and everybody bailed out. That was the beginning of the Cold War right there, folks. And the model right here I'd like to present to you is 1/144 scale. It's the smallest model I have in my collections, and like I said earlier in the video, I wouldn't mind getting a bunch more of these. They seem like they build pretty good, and they don't take up too much space. Right here, gentlemen, this is the Academy Minicraft 1/144 scale C-54 Skymaster, the candy bomber. This aircraft practically builds itself. All you gotta do is slap the glue to it, paint it up, and the decals fill the bill. The de-icer boots, propeller tips, the yellow and red zip stripe, de-icers, the anti-glare panel in front of the cockpit, the portholes on the side of the fuselage were all decals. 99 and 9/10 of this airplane is all decals, and tip of head is plastic. The only modification done on this airplane is I dropped the flaps. As you can see, the flaps are filled in using sheet styrene and my favorite filler of choice, Bondo glazing putty. I'll turn around aft right here, gentlemen. You can be able to see the back of the aircraft where the flaps are. The wing walks are all incorporated on the kit, as you can see. You can see the fuel ports on there between the nacelles. It's a beautiful looking airplane. It's small, but it's, once you get used to the size of it, it's just like the rest of my collection. It's sizable. It's not too small, but it's just right. Now I can see why a lot of you young fellows out there buy these small models like that. They really are treasures in their own natural state. And I wouldn't mind getting a whole collection of these little jobs. My wife kind of likes these lots. And well, Frank, we can put these in my carry-o. And I got 4 right now. I got in there right now. But they're not 1/44 scale. They're 1/72 scale. My little Revell biplanes I built years ago. But I wouldn't mind getting any more of these kits. They're not terribly expensive. I think I paid $14 for this airplane. And it's a far mirror than paying $134 for that albatross I got. But anybody who's ever built one of these, I highly recommend getting one. They can make them all in the 1/144 scale range, all constant scale. They got the Constellation. They got the Boeing 377 Clipper. They got the DC-6 Cloudmaster. They got the Connie, PBY, the B-17, the B-29, and making models again. That gentleman made a beautiful looking 1/144 scale Wildcat. That's a puny job. He did a good job. He put a 3-tone camouflage on that, white in the bottom, intermediate blue, and non-specular sea blue on top. And I surmise that the wingspan's probably 3 inches on that. But it's a very sizable model. And very impressive, these small ones are. I'm starting to have a yearn about buying some more of these. But anyway, folks, I'm glad you enjoyed my C-54 Skymaster at 1/144 scale. I got a few seconds here before this thing signs me off. I'll give you another view of it. The finish on it, I used Aerogloss Silvery aluminum, the same thing I used on my KC-97G Stratotanker. And it dries pretty good. When that dope goes on, it goes on like a plate. And it doesn't leave no finger marks at all. You don't need no sealer for it. Once again, you can take that dope right there, you got to thin it out with a lacquer thinner. I don't think they make the stuff anymore. So anybody's got that stuff, hang on to it. Anyway, folks, Grandfather the clock on the corner over there is pointing his hands telling me it's time to sign off. I'd like to thank everybody out there for tuning in, and I appreciate your replies, your comments. I'll do the same for you great fellows out there. I'm very happy to show my collections. I got tons more to show you, so I won't bore you out there. And I'm very happy you guys like my collections. And may God bless. We'll see you on the next YouTube presentation, folks. Thank you, guys. Bye now.